Good morning and good evening. Welcome back to For the Lonely Nights. I'm Paul Kim, and thank you for joining us for another episode of this podcast series. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Having a great week. I'm having a great week myself, and yeah, before we get started here, I just want to take a minute to, I guess, kind of warn you guys ahead of time and apologize because, uh, you know, right now I'm currently recording this. I have this new setup going on, um, and it's like 3:30 in the morning, and I don't know if it's because of, you know, uh, I'm doing this in a new place, a new time. I don't know if it's because it's like 3 degrees hotter than usual, or what it is, but you know, it, um, it's definitely been throwing me off my game. I spent like the past hour to an hour and a half trying to just even start recording, and every time I would try to start recording, start this episode, something would go wrong, and like every week something goes wrong. So, but um, this time it was, uh, major things, major things would go wrong, and it would have to force me to just stop and just scrap everything altogether and try to start again, and um, even like 30, 40 minutes ago, in the middle of, just the recording, my mic decided to, I guess, die on me. I tried everything I could, and it looks like the mic is just completely broken right now. So that's why my voice may sound a little weird, a little less quality right now, because I'm using my earphones right now to record this. So I apologize once again ahead of time for just everything. And I may sound a little flustered right now, um, and my mouth is probably gonna get dry like every other minute, like it has been for the past hour. But we work through these things, and um, I'm sure once I start to get in my groove and get the momentum of things, it's gonna be a great time. We're gonna have fun, definitely have fun here in this episode. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, with that being said, let's get started. Um, and earlier this week, I was kind of brainstorming and thinking about uh, what I wanted to talk about in this week's episode. And, a lot of things came to mind initially, because, a lot of things are going on right now. You turn on the TV and in politics, entertainment, news, everything. Um, there's so many stuff going on, and I was really excited to talk about some of those things. Those are really great things to kind of bring up and discuss on this podcast. But and then I realized there's so much stuff going on out there in the world. But there's also so much stuff going on in my own life, that I often overlook. And, um, there definitely, uh, even in the past few months, there has been just quite a number of things, that has definitely impacted my life and changed I guess, the natural course of things, that's going on in my life, changed up the rhythm a bit. And these are great things that I definitely want to share with you guys as well. So, before it gets too late or before, I forget about it and it never comes up. So, I decided to dedicate this episode this week to just those things, and so this episode is going to be a catching up episode, catching up with what's going on in Paul's Kim's life. And, um, you could already tell it's going to be very casual, very lighthearted, like it always is. Um, yeah, nothing too deep here, nothing too meaningful or controversial or interesting, but I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great time. So, with that being said, a long intro, but let's get started. Let's get into it. I actually picked out three things that um, have definitely been a big game changer in my life in the recent months. And um, the first one right here, honestly, I'm actually super excited to talk about. And that's because it's all about stocks. And if you know me, stocks and investing into stocks, that's kind of like something that you don't want to bring up around me because, once I get started, I could go on and on. I could go on for hours just talking about stocks alone. And, not many people, not many people find, I guess, joy or really like to talk about something boring as stocks, for hours and hours. So yeah, it's like a taboo topic to bring around me. But honestly, yeah, that in and of itself shows how much I actually enjoy, um, you know, this process of investing into stocks and how much excitement I get from just kind of learning about it and being a part of it. And um, you know, it's kind of like that feeling. I feel like I'm in that phase right now when, when you wake up on a Christmas morning and you open up your present and it's a brand new toy that you've been wanting, or you find a brand new TV show that you really like, or a video game, and for the next couple weeks, for the next couple months, like that's all you're caught up on, it deserves all your attention and care. You play with this toy more than your other toys. You take it with you everywhere because it's new and yeah, it's just so exciting. Because you just received this, you just got this toy, and that's kind of how I feel right now about stocks. Um, I'm still in that phase where I'm just super excited, super invested into this, and uh, yeah, it definitely has taken up a lot of my time in the past few months, and um, I'm actually I'm fairly new to this whole thing myself. I only started investing earlier this year, um, and that's definitely very late compared to a lot of people who I'm sure a lot of my friends have started investing, years and years back. But um, yeah, I started just a few months ago. But even now, like just seeing how far I've come, it uh, definitely is a surprise, and definitely a journey, And honestly, it's crazy. How invested I am into stocks because honestly investing into stocks was just something that I always kind of strayed away from growing up. Growing up in a traditional Asian household, your parents always kind of tell you to uh, just keep your eyes set on that that main road, that road that everyone takes. You grow up, you study hard in school, you get a nice job, work hard at your career, and you make a lot of money. That's kind of like what every parent kind of tells their kids to do. And so kind of yeah, growing up, like I've always heard from my parents, from other people that stocks is um, it's very similar to a lottery or gambling in a casino. Yeah, sure, a few people definitely make it big and they make a lot of money, but a lot of people they lose a lot of money. They almost lose it all, because of stocks, and that's just kind of how it was portrayed to me growing up. So definitely, scared me a lot, and it was just something that was never in my mind. I never really gave it a second thought. I took it for what it, I took it for face value, what it was. And um, yeah, even in high school, that's like the time where a couple of my friends were beginning to get into stocks as well. And they were always telling me, hey, you should invest into so and so. You should, yeah, like you should buy this stock, that stock. And, um, I always even then, I started to get a little interested in it, but I would always shy away. I would never take that step. Um, and now that I'm in college, I'm almost done with college actually. Going into my fourth year, and and I finally took that step into getting involved in all of this, and uh, taking the time to learn more about it, to research myself, not just take things for as they are, but personally invest time and effort into researching things, looking up the terms, learning, what the process is. Um, and now that I look back, one thing I can definitely say for sure, is I definitely regret not getting into this sooner. And um, yeah, it is crazy, and I think honestly, being a part of investing and this whole, stock market process, I think it definitely has changed my view on a lot of things actually as well, on life, on financial situations, circumstances, just a lot of things. And um, it's honestly really surprising. It may sound like I'm hyping it up a little too much, but and maybe I am, but it definitely has, give has allowed me and helped me learn to just kind of broaden up my horizons a bit, open up my mind. Uh, Still a lot of things that I previously didn't know were there before. And for example, like taking career uh, into the question, like I said earlier, that everyone's just kind of on trying to your parents, this world, just the school system, everything's just kind of leading you to focus on that one main path, that everyone takes. But because we're so caught up in that, we're so caught up in that one path, there's one way to live, one way to make money, um, that we kind of limit ourselves, we limit our vision, uh, and we only see that one path. We refuse to look around and see if there's other opportunities, other options, that we can take. And, um, you know, because of that, we miss a lot of opportunities. And I think that's definitely what the boat that I was in, I missed a lot of opportunities. And, now that I have definitely opened up my horizons a little bit more, and now, after learning more about stocks and like all these ways to make money, invest in money, um, I it gets me excited to see what other ways, what other opportunities there are that I've been missing out on, that I haven't been able to um, realize, and you know, I've definitely come to realize that, it's not just that one path anymore. There's so many other paths that diverge, so many other opportunities that lead you elsewhere, but they all lead to the same goal one way or the other. Some faster than the others, and um, you know, I think definitely stocks is one of those things where not many people really take this route because um, maybe they're in the same boat as me. Me growing up, they have this preconceived notion of how dangerous and how kind of how you're kind of gambling away your money. But those who kind of take the risk, take the step, and not just kind of do it blindly, but invest the same amount of time and effort that they would into studying or that they would into getting a good job and working their job. They invest the same time and effort into this, into the research, into learning about it, learning a new skill, and um, if they play their cards right, they could reach that goal of having a lot of money. If money is your goal, they could reach that goal uh, so much quicker in a fraction of the time that it would take um, for the typical traditional route of working 9 to 5 every day. Um, and so, yeah, I promise that there wouldn't be anything deep or anything like that in this episode, so I'm gonna just kind of cut it there, with the life lessons or whatever. But yeah, that's just kind of what I learned and realized, kind of being a part of this whole process. And um, as much as like as good as I make this sound, as sweet as I make this whole stocks and this whole process sound, there definitely is the downsides to this, for sure. There's definitely the risks and dangers that are involved, like anything, and even in the past 24 hours, uh, I've lost around $500. Um, you know, it, just like that, you never know really. You can't really predict exactly, how the stocks are going to go, and that's just kind of like the excitement of it and the beauty of it. It's also, the dangers of it as well. But um, yeah, so I've definitely had my own fair share of losses. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you exactly what stocks I invested in or how much. But if it would, if me from a few months back early in the year, just kind of getting into stocks, looked at my Robinhood app, from me right now, he would, oh my God, like he would faint, just the sheer amount of uh, investment and time and effort that I put into this whole thing. It really is crazy. And, I remember just back then when I was starting off into this thing, I'm like, hey, I told myself, I'm like, hey, um, you know, this seems like a cool thing, so I definitely want to take a step into it. But at the same time, I'm going to be very responsible with my money. I'm going to keep myself in control, in check. I'm not going to go too crazy because I know how easy that is. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna just, invest in one stock in this big, safe company that I know is gonna steadily increase over the years, and then I'm gonna check back 5, 10, 15 years later, and just see what I got from it. That's just kind of my mind, what I told myself going into these things. But um, you know, behold, uh, the first week goes by, and you make $10, and you're like, wow, this is cool. Next week you make $20, and just that excitement of making money leads you to buy your second stock, your third stock, and pretty soon you're at the point where I am right now, where just this past week I even went on this little like investment spree, um, and dude, honestly, I definitely need to keep myself in control a little more. Um, but that's it definitely is fun. It gives you a sense of uh, just taking an opportunity, that you don't know if it's gonna work out well for you exactly or not, but you're taking that risk, and there's that excitement, and when you stare at the graph, every day, and when you see it go up and you see the cash flowing in, you're just like, dang, like it makes you feel good. And when you lose when you lose money too, on the other hand, yeah, you don't feel as good, but at the same time, there's a process to things, and that's just part of the process. But yeah, it's cool stuff. Definitely great stuff, and I'm excited to see where it leads me. Um, just over the next 5, 10, 15 years. I definitely think in this day and age, everybody's into stocks. Everybody's investing something, and um, like even being a part of this process, it led me to kind of view everything differently as well. It led me to view everything as an investment. Everything is an investment, whether even if it's not money, whether it's your career goals, whether it's your family, your friendships, your relationships, even within yourself, everything is an investment. I I don't think us as humans, it's within our nature to just really do stuff for free, do stuff without expecting anything in return, even if it's like a subconscious expectation. And that's just something, you could argue with me about, like the whole debate about, are humans innately good or evil, or whatever it is. That's something, I'm definitely excited to debate about in the future. Maybe I'll have a guest on, we could talk about that. But um, yeah, I personally don't believe right now that we do anything for free. Everything's always an investment. And, you know, I think definitely that has kind of evolved my own perception of just a lot of things, especially with, my own finances. I think it's definitely a good idea to just be a part of this, to always uh, invest into something. And right now, that's money. Always invest your money, instead of having it, sit in the bank and just staying the same. Um, Even in the Bible, there was this parable. Uh, Forgive me if I get some of the parts wrong, but if I remember, it's like, um, this master gives three of his servants the same amount of money, or different amounts of money, and then each of the servants do different things, and the first two they invest it, or they do stuff with it pretty much, and they return with more than they were given, but the third one he just goes and buries it, and then just returns with the same amount, and he was just kind of like the foolish one, and I know the parable itself is speaking on, it's not speaking on stocks or anything or money. I know, but it's kind of like a similar idea. It's the same idea, I feel like uh, just investing your money, your finances into safe options, nothing too risky, nothing too dangerous, but investing into something, even just leaving in a savings account to gather interest, things like that. Um, it's a very smart move. I think you'll definitely come to appreciate it later on in the years, later on in your life. And so that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Um, you could already tell that I could go on and on about stocks. But yeah, I'm gonna control myself right now, even right now. And yeah, I'm gonna come here and cut it kind of short. Um, but great stuff. If you're not part of stocks, or investing, I'd highly recommend you to take a look into it. Um, I think definitely it'll be worthwhile. And even if you're not, don't want to be a part of it, I think it definitely is a something good to know, to learn, to be knowledgeable of. Because I think it's definitely a big part of kind of the world we're growing into. Um, so with that being said, I'm gonna end it off there. Great stuff, man. That was really exciting to talk about. So I'm glad I brought that up. I'll probably talk about stocks in the future as well, because I have friends who know a lot more about stocks than I do right now. They've been in the game longer. They've made more. They've lost more. But maybe I'll talk about it with them also on this podcast. But going on to the second one, this is something that I've wanted to talk about for some time now, but I've never had I was never in the position to. And it's because it's about exercise, exercise, working out. I feel like that's, something that everybody always uh, wants to do. It's their New Year's resolution, it's their mid-year resolution, um, it's their end of the year resolution. It's something that we always have on our minds. I need to exercise more. I need to work out. I need to go to the gym. I need to be more fit. I need to live a healthier lifestyle. Um, but it's something that a lot of us never get around to. A lot of us never kind of stick to. And I'm on the same boat here. um, I think personally, it takes a lot of. I don't have that discipline yet to just keep myself accountable and keep myself just sticking to this routine of exercising and you know achieving a healthy lifestyle um, and you know even in my looking back, I always needed something else to keep me accountable um, in high school or growing up like whenever I was doing sports. Um, or things like that, almost every sport has a lot of exercise just weave into it naturally. And there's a lot of prep and preseason stuff that you got to do to just prepare your body and all that. Um, I spent a few years um, doing Taekwondo. That's a martial arts in Korea. I did wrestling. Um, did a little bit of tennis and other things, and each of those, they're very physically demanding sports. They're very physically demanding activities, and uh, you gotta. There's a level of preparation that comes with that, and so when I was actually a part of those things, part of these sports teams, and doing all that. Um, I had coaches and my teammates keeping me accountable to always be exercising, always be working out, keeping myself on this on a healthy diet, on a healthy lifestyle, and um, you know, I think those are like the prime times of my life where I was actually fit somewhat. Um, but then, obviously when college hits and I start living on my own and I'm not a part of those sports teams anymore, like nobody's really there to keep you accountable. So, um, you know, I like get a gym membership and I'm like, since I'm spending so much money on this membership, this is gonna keep me accountable. This is gonna make me go to the gym more. But, you know, you go maybe like once a week and then it turns into once a month, and then you just kind of sit through paying for the membership month after month without even going to the gym once. And um, yeah, I think it also kind of has to do with the fact that I have like a very naturally like scrawny body, like body type. I'm very skinny, um, and I always was kind of growing up. And uh, I like no matter how much I eat, because my parents would always force me to eat a lot. My mom would make me eat so much, like double the portions, triple the portions sometimes because I was so skinny. Um, and so like honestly, I'm very proud of my eating abilities right now. I think I eat a lot more than people would expect, looking at me. But um, even though I ate so much, like it would never really show. Like I would never really get, um, you know, bigger or fatter, with the amount of food I was eating every day. Um, and to a lot of people, that's a blessing. So I'm not complaining or anything, but definitely, that's just kind of how I grew up. So like I always kind of just learned to embrace, that I'm always gonna be the skinny one and the scrawny one, and that's kind of how my mindset was, and you know, it definitely has caught up to me. This past few months, once everything, the stay-at-home order, everything going to quarantine, um, even in college, earlier this year, I've been kind of like rededicating myself to going to the gym and working out and exercising. But, once everything went back home, and all the gyms were closed, that was just another excuse for me to not exercise anymore. And this past few months, I've just been eating. Uh, the same amount of food, eating a lot. But now that we're always at home, I don't go out. I don't even get like the daily natural exercise in by walking around or stuff like that. Like I'm just always at home, sitting down, laying down, or something. Um, and I didn't realize the danger of that, um, because I never really faced the consequences before. I never got fat. My body never got out of like too out of shape. Um, that it all hit me out of nowhere. Like even the past couple of weeks, I like looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, like what happened, Like where did those like ribs go that you can see, Um, like where did that skinny pack go, Like where did all the bones go that you can just like kind of see by looking at me, It's all gone. Like in places, I have a belly now, like I have a gut hanging out. Um, like my skin is drooping in all places, and um, yeah, it's just not a pretty sight. And um, so like because of that shock, I received, um, I kind of decided to get back on that grind, to exercise. And one thing I kind of came up with, to keep myself accountable, um, is to uh, order a set of adjustable dumbbells. And if you guys know, if you guys ever have looked into these things, dumbbells and like workout equipment, they're not cheap, They're very expensive stuff, and especially now since everybody's at home, so everybody's wanting to order exercise equipment for themselves as well because all the gyms are closed. Prices have soared up as well, and so these things weren't cheap. I spent weeks and weeks trying to look for one that was affordable and that was pretty decent. Um, and like even just a basic like one pair of dumbbells, maybe like 30 pounds, 35 pounds, um, something like that is like already 180, $250. And that's still on the cheaper end too. And so I was like, dang, like um, if I'm really gonna invest this much money into something like this, then I better make sure that I get my money's worth. I better make sure that I keep myself accountable. And it was honestly, a great thing. I found a set of adjustable dumbbells for um, around 160, 170, which is a really good deal, honestly. Um, yeah, a really good deal for what I got, and um, I received them like 3 weeks back. or stuff 3 weeks, 4 weeks back, and no, like yeah, 3 weeks back, and ever since I got them, I've been exercising, working out 6 times a week. You know, um, maybe last week like 5 times a week, but like almost every day, I'm exercising, I'm working out, because I lay my dumbbells out in a place where I can see them, where it would catch my eye every day, in my daily routine. And every time I see it, I'm reminded of how much money I dropped into investing into getting these things, and how unfortunate it would be if I just never used them. So the money, I guess, the investment into these dumbbells, here we go again, investment. That's just what keeps me accountable, and I think that's great, honestly. You got to do what you got to do. I know a lot of people are just very disciplined in and of themselves to just keep themselves accountable, even without these things, without other people. Um, you know, but I personally myself, I'm not there yet. Um, and so, kind of, I need these little things to kind of keep me on track. Um, but yeah, at first, when you get back into exercising after a long hiatus of not, just not exercising whatsoever, like it's a struggle for sure. Um, like, you know, things that you thought like were very light, in the past, like you could lift, uh, you could curl like 25, 30 pounds, no problem. But now, you're struggling to curl like 10, 15 pounds, and things like that. And it's very discouraging because, you just do a set of a workout, and then your body's already like dead. It's like exhausted, running so low on fuel, and you get your headaches. You feel like you're gonna throw up. You overwork yourself, and it definitely is not a good feeling. And a lot of times, like that's kind of where I always found myself giving up too. Whenever I tried to get back into exercising, I go through all those road bumps, those struggles that I need to get over. In the first few weeks. Um, and I just kind of stop and I give up, and it just kind of happens again and again. Uh, but this week or this time, I kind of power through it. I feel like I'm kind of in the end of this whole like kind of beginning struggle phase. It's kind of getting a lot easier, and I feel like my body is just getting more into the routine, getting used to just exercising every day. And honestly, like I feel great. I don't look great. I still look uh, very disgusting, but I feel great. I know my body's going to catch up sooner or later, so I'm not too worried about that. I think one thing though that I need to be better about though for sure is just cardio. Like, dang, cardio has always been one of my weaknesses. Like, um, I was always fast. I was always, you know, like for my body type, I was always kind of uh, somewhat strong, but at the same time, I would never last. Like if we're running a mile, I would always, pass out in like the second lap, or uh, yeah, like cardio's always been a problem. So that's something always I've been trying to work on recently, and yeah, I just need to get out and run more, honestly. And actually, a couple weeks back, I got myself a new protein powder, and previously, when I was working out uh, in college, I I was eating this protein powder, the whey protein powder, and um, I chose the flavor cookies and cream because I thought, cookies and cream, that sounds good, right? When I remember cookies and cream used to be my favorite ice cream flavor at Baskin Robbins growing up. And so, I got it, but yo, that thing does not taste like cookies and cream. It tastes so bad. And so, but like I spent, it's protein shakes, protein powder is not cheap either. So, um, I dropped a lot of money to get that, so I had to finish, what I bought. And so I remember just like painfully downing every protein shake every time I was exercising. But I finally got through the whole thing, uh, a couple weeks back, and so I ordered um, a new one, and I was looking through online, and uh, like I couldn't find any smaller sized ones. So like all my options were like the big ones, like the big tank looking ones um, that could probably last you for another good couple months, a good couple to few months, um, and so I realized that this next flavor I choose it has to be good because I'm committed for I'm stuck in I'm committed for at least the next couple months. So um, I was just searching through my palette, and kind of searching through what flavors they had, and I finally decided on double chocolate. Um, and I know that sounds super heavy, and I was kind of worried about that too. I'm like, double chocolate, why not single chocolate? Why not some, I don't know, chocolate vanilla, some mix and everything. But um, it was honestly that, or cookies and cream again, when it came down to it. So I kind of put all my marbles, hoping that this one actually tasted somewhat better. And yeah, when I received it, dude, this thing was big, but um, I finally I tried it. When I was in college, I didn't really have access to milk a lot because I was living in the dorms. So I would always, drink it with water, which is like the regular thing to do. But mixing it with milk definitely amps up the taste so much more. Um, and yeah, dude, this double chocolate protein powder, holy, like this actually tastes like an actual like shake or yeah, like you go to In and Out, you order the chocolate shake or the vanilla shake, it tastes exactly like that. Like it doesn't taste healthy. And a lot of healthy foods, a lot of healthy things usually you have to sacrifice the taste, for the health. But in this one, you get the protein you need and it tastes amazing. So I think I definitely scored the jackpot on this one. It's honestly great stuff. And yeah, I've been drinking that every day while exercising. So um, hopefully it's doing work. um, but yeah, exercise, great stuff. Um, I really hope that I don't fall into the same cycle or the same trap again and just kind of let it fade out and give up halfway. Uh, I really hope that this time around, I just keep at it. And it just becomes, a part of my daily routine, part of my lifestyle. And I can just really pursue that active and healthy lifestyle. Um, and so, that's my hopes and prayers. Uh, hopefully, I can keep myself accountable. Hopefully, you know, you actually just shoot me a random comment on one of my videos sometimes, checking up on me, being like, hey, you exercising? You'll keep me accountable too. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. But that's it for that. And this last one right here that I kind of want to talk about. Um, this one's hmm, how do I say this? It's not a very personal topic, but at the same time, it kind of is. Um, so this one I want to talk about for the intellectual nights. The last one was for the healthy nights. This one for the intellectual nights. I want to talk about this book club that I was somewhat a part of this past month or two. So yeah, in like the past, I think they said they started in July. So that was, a fair time away. Um, a couple of my friends from my church in LA and just from the school, they posted like, "Hey, we're starting this book, to reading this book, the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and um, we thought it'd be a great idea if we could start like a very casual book club. Meet once or twice, maybe three times a week, and just go over, the chapters that we read, and bounce back and forth some ideas, and have some discussions. And I thought it was a great idea. I really wasn't doing much with my break then, so um, I'm like, yeah, put me on board. And so far, I think I've read like only a handful of chapters. I, you know, I joined for like the first couple meetings, and then after that, I kind of faded away. I stopped, and um, but recently this week I joined another one as well. I was just kind of sitting in and listening, and every time even the few times I was there, every time I was in the meetings, like uh, the things that are being brought up and discussed, it's just great stuff. It's honestly, like, I think that's one of the great joys of something like a book club that I never really gave credit for. I always kind of thought book clubs were for nerds, for bookworms, for people who kind of enjoy reading more than video games, or things like that, who have no social life. But so like the typical stereotypes, and never really gave it too much thought. But yeah, just being able to experience, only even if it's just a little bit, a part of this book club, um, is great stuff. Having people there to that's on the same page as you, figuratively and literally, and just really being able to work through things together. Being verbally able to um, you know just put out your questions, test your curiosity, and being able to listen to what other people have to say, their own perspectives on things, the way they took a certain passage or a certain wording, what spoke out to them. Um, Being able to be there and listen to that, it really opens up your mind, and really helps you see things and like visualize things that you never would have if you were just there stuck in your own personal mindset and your own thoughts. And this goes for a lot of things. I think I learned this from a lot of things, even in high school, with my whole film thing that I was going through. Uh, I learned that a filmmaker, you can't really um, do everything on your own and expect it to be perfect. Maybe it's perfect in your eyes, but if you never, ask for criticism, ask for opinions from, those that you trust, and if you never really just take those to heart, think about it, meditate on it, reflect it, let it open up your mind a little bit and work upon it, um, it's only going to ever stay perfect in your eyes. For others, for everyone else, like, um, it's rarely that. And so, just to achieve a level of greatness, not only for yourself, but for, just everything that you're doing, and to just really be able to inspire and impress and appeal to others as well. You gotta be able to uh, understand where others are coming from. You gotta be able to just get out of your own shell and your own bubble. And yeah, like, is honestly, when I was, in these meetings, and I was reading through the chapters, and these are some hard stuff. C.S. Lewis, that man is a legend for sure. Um, but he does not write, uh, in simple English, I would say, since he is from the old times. Actually, he's not that old, but definitely, he writes in more sophisticated language, I would say. So, and like his ideas and the things that he's writing about, things that he's talking about, they're not very easy to understand. They're not, you really gotta um, be at a certain level um, of discipline, of uh, spirituality. You gotta train yourself and be able to match where he's coming from to really be able to grasp the things he's saying. And for me, I wasn't really there, um, and even like analyzing literature, that was never my strong suit. So uh, being there and just being in the presence, like I said, I was reading through these things, and there were so many questions I had, so many things that I maybe could understand at a surface level, but just hearing everyone else talk and just dive into it deeper, and um, it just really help me understand, help me figure out a lot of things just within myself as well, and then I share a thing or two, um, and then everyone. people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that was pretty obvious. But to me, it was like a big revelation, and it's just honestly a great time, I think. Honestly, unfortunate that I couldn't be a part of it more than um, I would have liked. I think it was just a lot of, once I started falling behind, it just gets harder and harder to catch up. But I think this particular book club has like three more meetings left. I think they said. So maybe I'll be part of those three meetings, maybe not. Who knows? But I think that's just the most important thing here. Other than the book itself, which is honestly a great book from so far from what I've read so far. Like I said, only read a handful of chapters, but it. Um, if you guys don't know, I think just from what I've gotten, I think the book is just kind of taking place in the perspective of a devil, and pretty much this I guess elder devil, or I don't know, this devil that's been around for longer, has more experience, is kind of writing to his nephew, I think, the a younger devil who's trying to tempt this human or whatever it is. Um, but yeah, it's real interesting stuff. And like I said, this whole book club thing, it more than the book itself, and I think it definitely helped me open up my mind to, um, yeah, just being able to be more vulnerable and be more just dependent on others. I think that's a big thing that I always struggle with, being able to depend and trust on others. Um, and so, yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully there are more book clubs in the future that I could definitely, be committed to full time. But until then, great stuff. I'm actually recently just kind of started to, not started yet, but I just really wanted to, you know, start to read more. And not necessarily, just books on spirituality or books on the walk of faith, but just other classic literature as well. There's so many great books, and um, growing up, I read so many, like I read so much, um, and so, I know how amazing and great books can be. I know the adventures and the journey and the lessons that you can learn from each one. When you read a book, it truly never leaves you. Even if you forget the plot or the characters' names, the things that stick with you for life. And so I know how valuable they can be. I definitely slacked off a lot, these past few years. Been caught up on gaming and hanging out and other things, but yeah, a truly wise and intelligent person is a person who's read a lot. And I truly believe that. And so I want to get back on this grind of just reading. And with the spare time, with the free time I have, which is a lot right now, I wanted to just kind of, yeah, just spend that time, um, just just gaining the wisdom and the excitement and yeah, just the knowledge, that I can get, that I can gain from these books. So that's another thing to keep myself accountable for. Um, that one I feel like it's gonna be a little harder than exercising, and exercising is already hard enough. But I'll get there. I'll get there. Um, but yeah, that's just like a couple things that's been going on in my life, recently. A couple of newer things. Yeah, it my life has definitely, I feel like this is the same for a lot of people. It's definitely taken a turn um, after this year. After everything has hit with the pandemic, with this and that, and everyone's just trying to stay on their feet and just kind of going with the flow of things, going with the changes. And um, this is how my life has changed recently. It's a very small change, I guess, in like the bigger scope of things, but it really shook up my daily routine of just kind of waking up, and getting some work done, just lounging around, things like that, just each and every day. It kind of, gave me stuff to hope for, gave me stuff to be excited about, gave me stuff to discipline myself about as well. And so, yeah, I'm really thankful. All of it is just such a blessing from God, and it's just all of it is just evidence, proof enough that God is always looking out for me, for you, for every one of His children, even in the forms of like things like this, like stocks, like exercising, books, um, truly all a blessing from our Father in heaven. So um, yeah, all glory to Him. And so with that being said, I actually have some verses here that I wanted to share with you guys. And for this week, uh, I'm actually gonna share from two different chapters in Psalms. I think they're both kind of speak to a very similar message, and yeah, hopefully something resides with you guys. But the first one is gonna be from Psalm chapter 51, verse 1. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is always before me. And the second one will be from chapter 103, verses 10 through 14. He does not treat us as our sins deserve, or repay us according to our iniquities. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is His love for those who fear Him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has He removed our transgressions from us. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear Him. For He knows how we are formed. He remembers that we are dust. Amen. So thank you once again for joining us on a very casual but much needed episode of For the Lonely Nights. That's just kind of a glimpse of what I'm going through. Hopefully you guys are doing great as well. Hopefully you guys, are waking up each morning with excitement for the day. Looking forward to things. And yeah, that's just kind of how we get through each day. Um, and so yeah, always hit me up if you have any prayer requests or anything. Leave a comment or email me. Um, I honestly don't know if I put my email in the links, but I'll make sure to do that. um, but yeah, good stuff. Have a fantastic week, guys. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, all glory to God.